from new footage of Bigfoot. A disturbing figure recorded on security camera and skinwalkers at working sites. These are just a few things we will look at. This footage was originally uploaded to Instagram by a user named Antonio, but it quickly went viral on TikTok after viewers saw just how terrifying it really was. The clip comes straight from his home security camera, and what it captured is chilling. Now, Antonio himself isn't sure what he recorded. Could it have been a random junkie, someone elderly with mental issues, or something far more sinister? Viewers who've already seen the footage are calling it a witch. And honestly, after watching it closely, I can see why. At first, it's the person's strange, twitchy movements and disturbing appearance that catch your attention. Sure, you could argue it's just someone struggling with addiction, but then comes the climbing. The way this figure effortlessly scaled a metal door, using nothing but their feet, is almost unbelievable. I got the same door and tried to replicate it, but failed miserably. Human feet just don't grip smooth metal like that. And then, there's another unsettling detail. The camera glitches. Right before the figure appears, the footage distorts. Twice. Maybe that's a coincidence. But what if it wasn't? What if the interference was caused by whatever this thing is? If you ask me, Antonio should definitely consider replacing that door with something harder to climb. Because if this really was a witch, who's to say she won't decide to come back? This next video comes from a group of workers in Colombia who were on a job site near the forest when they noticed something incredibly unsettling. Hiding beneath one of their machines was what looks like a small, gray extraterrestrial, quietly watching them. The moment the cameraman realized what he was seeing, he bolted, leaving viewers stunned by what the footage captured. The figure appears to have the classic features of a gray alien, thin body, pale skin, and those unnervingly large, black eyes we're used to seeing in UFO movies. Now, of course, some will say it's CGI, or even AI generated. But here's the thing. The creature blends almost perfectly with its surroundings, and the pixelation remains consistent, which makes it a lot harder to dismiss as a simple edit. But if this isn't fake, then what exactly did they stumble across? Could the forests of Colombia be hiding something we were never meant to see? If you're a fan of the paranormal, then you've probably heard of one of Mexico's most haunted airports, the Felipe Angeles Airport. Despite being heavily guarded, it's long been rumored to be haunted, with many claiming it was built on former military land. Over the years, there have been reports of strange apparitions and chilling screams echoing from the underground tunnels beneath the site. But during the lockdown of 2020, those rumors seemed to take a terrifying turn toward the truth when this footage surfaced from one of the airport's own security cameras. The video shows a ghostly young girl staring directly into the camera, as if fully aware she's being watched. According to reports, the area where she appeared was restricted to staff only, meaning no outsider could have been there. And, if that wasn't strange enough, her eyes were glowing. Now, you might think her eyes were just reflecting some kind of camera flash, But here's the problem. These cameras don't use high-powered flashes. And even if they did, human eyes don't reflect light the way animals do. We lack the tapetum lucidum, a special reflective layer behind the retina that enhances night vision in animals. So, what exactly was staring into that lens? If this wasn't a human trespasser, then who or what was that girl? Could the haunted reputation of this airport actually be real? One thing's for sure, I wouldn't be signing up for the night shift there, not even for $1 million. A pregnant woman from Indiana went in for what was supposed to be a routine ultrasound scan. But when the results came back, she discovered something that many are calling a divine sign. When she shared this ultrasound with her friends and family, they immediately pointed out what looked like the unmistakable image of Jesus on the cross appearing within the scan. Since most of them were believers, they took it as a clear and powerful message from God. And honestly, when you compare the image of Christ on the cross to the shape in the ultrasound, the resemblance is striking. Of course, skeptics argue that this could simply be a case of pareidolia, the brain's tendency to find familiar patterns, like faces or figures, in random shapes. Still, even knowing that, I have to admit, on first glance, I would have thought the same thing. It really does look like Jesus on the cross. Also, I have seen reports of religious signs appearing in the clouds or even symbols in the sky, but an image this distinct showing up in a baby's ultrasound? That's something truly rare. A newspaper distributor was on his usual morning run in a small town near the Kota-Mangaluru highway in India when something terrifying decided to chase him. For his own safety, he pulled out his camera, and ever since he uploaded the footage, the internet has been going wild. According to a report by the Mumbai Mirror blog, the creature was dismissed as just a gorilla. But let's be real, does it really look like one? Notice the long, separate legs and the way it's standing upright. Gorillas don't move or posture like that. Some argue it could be a monkey, but honestly, have you ever seen a monkey that tall and that bulky? This is where the Bigfoot theory comes in, and personally, I think it's the closest match. The figure is tall, covered in dark fur, and has a clear humanoid stance. But even then, its proportions and leg structure seem off compared to typical Bigfoot sightings. Since the video went viral, locals in Kota have been left terrified, believing something unknown is lurking in their forests. And honestly, they might have a good reason to be afraid, because no one knows exactly what this thing is or what it's capable of. When it comes to extraterrestrial mysteries, the Ilkley Moor alien case stands as one of the UK's most chilling encounters, often mentioned in the same breath as the infamous Rendlesham Forest incident. On December 1st, 1987, retired policeman Philip Spencer set out across the fog-draped Ilkley Moor on his way to visit his father-in-law. While making his way through the desolate landscape, he suddenly noticed a strange figure in the mist, short, with unnaturally long arms that nearly touched the ground, large black eyes, and only 2 visible toes on its feet. Startled but curious, Spencer quickly raised his camera and managed to snap a single blurry photograph before the creature bolted into the fog. Moments later, Spencer's attention was drawn to something even more bizarre. A domed metallic craft silently lifting from a nearby swamp before vanishing into the night sky. When he finally reached his destination, Spencer made a chilling discovery. He was 2 hours late, with no memory of what had happened during the missing time. Experts later examined his photograph and found no signs of manipulation, lending credibility to his story. Desperate for answers, Spencer underwent regressive hypnosis, where he recalled being paralyzed, levitated aboard a silver craft, and subjected to an examination by green-skinned beings. During the session, he claimed the beings projected disturbing visions of Earth's future, overpopulation, pollution, and environmental collapse. Despite years of debate, skeptics remain divided. Yet the Ilkley Moore case endures as one of Britain's most significant alien abduction stories, often ranked just behind Roswell in importance. To me, this case is especially unsettling because the evidence goes beyond simple eyewitness testimony. There's the photograph, the consistent hypnosis accounts, and the undeniable missing time. Whether real or imagined, it forces us to confront a disturbing question: just how much of the unknown slips by, hidden in the fog of everyday life? I love Reddit because I can find solutions to almost all my problems there, but when it comes to the paranormal, like in this next video, things get downright terrifying. This footage was uploaded to the r/ghost subreddit by a user named Isaac2406, who asked viewers for their thoughts. According to him, the incident took place a few years ago at his workplace around 3 a.m., the classic witching hour. The clip shows a ghostly figure appearing out of thin air, slowly moving into the dark before vanishing completely. Naturally, the comments exploded with theories. Some called it a clear apparition, while others labeled it a dark spirit. But, as always with Reddit, skeptics jumped in too. They pointed out that at the 0:30 mark, you can see what looks like a flashlight in the figure's hand. Their argument is that if someone was carrying a flashlight in total darkness, the light would overpower the camera sensor, leaving the rest of their body underexposed and faded, which could explain the ghostly look. That's the logical explanation. But if it's not the case, then we're left with a much more chilling possibility. As peaceful and beautiful as our forests may seem, they often hide secrets that sometimes reveal themselves in the most unexpected ways. In April 2022, a series of mysterious photos taken near a lake in Wilmer, Alabama, began circulating on Facebook, and they quickly went viral. The images appeared to show a strange figure walking upright on 2 legs along the water's edge, leaving many to wonder what exactly was captured here. According to reports, the Mobile County Sheriff's Office was even alerted, with specialized teams deployed to investigate. The anonymous witness who snapped the photos initially assumed it was a bear, but after a closer look, insisted it was something far more unusual. What made this case stand out was the clarity of the images. Unlike the usual grainy or blurred cryptid evidence, these photos looked surprisingly sharp. Shared online by Kenny Walker, the post instantly ignited heated debate. Some were fascinated, while others dismissed it outright. Comparisons were even drawn to another bizarre moment in local folklore, the infamous leprechaun in a tree incident, where crowds of people swore they saw a leprechaun hiding in the branches. For context, leprechauns are mischievous figures from Irish folklore, typically described as short, bearded men in green coats and hats, said to guard hidden treasure. To this day, the true identity of the figure in those photos remains unsolved. Was it just a misidentified animal, or something stranger moving through Alabama's forests? In the quiet Arizona desert, a man named James Porter set up security cameras after hearing chilling local stories about skinwalkers, creatures said to shapeshift and mimic human voices. One night, around 3 a.m., his phone alerted him to motion outside. When he checked the feed, he saw something that still haunts him to this day.
Believe what you see, don't believe what you see, don't.
At first, the cameras picked up strange, distorted voices. Humanoid, but not quite human. Then, as if on cue, the motion-activated light switched on by itself. Moments later, the camera recorded a figure materializing out of thin air, only to vanish just as quickly. It didn't move like a person, and it wasn't shaped like any animal. But things didn't end there. According to Porter, the entity suddenly attacked the camera, causing the video to cut off. Alarmed, he grabbed a flashlight and his rifle before stepping outside. What he found was chilling. The camera ripped down, deep claw marks carved into the wall, and the air thick with the stench of rotting meat and wet fur. As he turned, a low growl echoed behind him. His flashlight caught two glowing eyes staring from the darkness. The creature stood just feet away, and then, in his late wife's perfect voice, it whispered, "James, help me." Paralyzed with fear, Porter stumbled backward as the figure lunged, only to stop inches away from him. It locked eyes with him, let out a piercing, otherworldly screech, and then disappeared into the desert night. The next morning, Porter abandoned the ranch for good. The footage, however, survived. Those who have seen it claim the figure's face kept shifting, flickering between human and animal features. And according to locals, if you pass by the now abandoned ranch at night, you can still hear a woman's voice crying out for help right before the growls begin. Would you be brave enough to go there alone in the dark? Personally, I wouldn't take that risk. Late one night in Chile, a mysterious video surfaced that left viewers completely stunned. A stray dog that appeared to slowly transform into a human. The unsettling footage, shared by the paranormal account, Ufologo Julio, on X, quickly went viral and reignited chilling old legends. While skeptics argue the clip is either edited or AI generated, others insist it could be proof of the ancient Nahual. In Mexican and South American folklore, a Nahual is believed to be a human with the ability to shapeshift into animals such as coyotes, jaguars, or even eagles. These beings are said to share a spiritual connection with their animal form, granting them powers of protection, healing, and sometimes even dark influence. Spotting a Nahual is nearly impossible, but legends claim you can identify them by strange behavior, mysterious injuries, or an unusual closeness to animals. The alleged transformation in this video has sparked fierce debate, dividing skeptics and believers. But for many, including me, after watching this footage, the legend of the Nahual feels a lot less like folklore and far closer to reality. When it comes to dogs and cryptids, we can't forget the infamous Silver Creek dogman, the creature that has terrified Michigan and Ohio communities since the late 1800s. First reported in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan, and in Silver Creek, Ohio, this beast has become one of the most enduring legends of American folklore. Witnesses describe the dogman as a 7-foot-tall, bipedal, canine-like creature with the torso of a man and glowing blue or amber eyes. Its howl is said to be unlike anything else, eerily similar to a human scream. Folklore even claims the Michigan dogman appears in 10-year cycles, always in years ending with the number 7. Sightings continued well into modern times, with the most recent wave reported in 2017. Reports have spanned across Michigan's northwestern Lower Peninsula, southeastern Ohio, and into the valley regions. The legend exploded in popularity in 1987 when radio DJ Steve Cook released a song that wove together decades of eyewitness accounts. Over the years, the dogman has earned a reputation for aggression, with tales of late-night workers fleeing after close encounters. Some even whisper that it may be connected to unexplained missing persons cases around Silver Creek. The mystery has never faded, and to this day, locals speak of the dogman in hushed tones. Personally, I believe it's real. Too many people have seen it. Too many have heard that bone-chilling scream, half animal, half human, for it to be just a myth. Legends don't survive this long without some truth at their core, and the Silver Creek dogman might be proof of that. This driver was on his way to work, cruising down a quiet forest road, when he spotted something unsettling. What looked like a toddler standing alone in the middle of the road. Naturally, he slowed down, thinking the child might need help, but as he recorded it, he noticed something that made him lock his doors immediately. At first glance, it seems like just a lost child, but according to the driver, this was no ordinary kid. He claimed the figure only resembled a human. Its posture, the way it stood perfectly still, and that blank, unsettling stare didn't feel right at all. Viewers who saw the footage quickly offered theories. Many pointed to folklore, calling it a gnome, a mythical dwarfish being from European legends, often tied to the earth, nature, and hidden treasures. But to be honest, when I look at it, it still seems like just a kid stranded in the road. However, here's where it gets chilling. Based on the sound in the video, it seems to be from Africa, and that opens up another possibility. I had a friend who visited Tanzania, and he told me about a terrifying experience. He stopped to help what looked like a child on the roadside. The moment he stepped out of his car, a group of thugs ambushed him, beat him badly, and stole everything he had. So, whether this figure was a paranormal gnome or a trap set by dangerous people, both possibilities are equally terrifying. Honestly, I hope I never run into something like that while driving at night. This guy was out for a night walk when he got that unmistakable feeling someone or something was watching him. And as it turns out, he wasn't imagining it. In the footage, you can see a figure moving through the trees. At first, you might think it's just a person, but take a closer look. The figure is hunched over and much larger than it should be compared to the surrounding trees. Some might argue it's just a shadow cast by lights in the background, but according to the uploader, that's impossible. The lights are 100 to 110 meters away from where the figure was captured. So, what are we left with? It could be a strange optical effect caused by distant lights, or it could be a genuine cryptid sighting caught on camera by a Redditor. Either way, seeing something like this in the dead of night is enough to send chills straight to your core. We all install security cameras to keep our homes and families safe. But what happens when your camera captures something you can't even explain? This unsettling footage was uploaded to r/ghosts by a user seeking answers after his security camera recorded something bizarre in his yard. The camera shows a shadowy figure hovering and gliding across the yard. At first, it enters the frame, then starts moving around as if inspecting its surroundings. It moves incredibly fast, and after just a few seconds, it seems to fly upward and disappears out of view. The owner is left confused and terrified, unsure if he should be worried for himself or his family. He's even considering moving, as the figure's presence is undeniably creepy. Now, for a logical explanation, it could simply be a bug, and since this is a night vision camera, the movement might appear distorted. It's also possible the camera lens itself has a flaw, capturing just a shadow instead of the whole object. However, according to the uploader, he's had these cameras for years and is familiar with lens glitches. This looks different, something he's never seen before. So, my advice, if it's just a bug, call an exterminator. But if it's not, well, maybe keep a very close eye on your yard. Whatever this is, we definitely don't want it escaping. A user on X uploaded a newly leaked video, supposedly from a military source, which showed what looked like a Sasquatch moving through dense brush during a military operation. The creature's massive, dark, and seems to move smoothly through thick terrain, almost like it knows the area better than anyone. Then, it was also said to be walking at 35 to 40 miles per hour. Some folks obviously thought it was an animal, probably a bear. Others could see that it was clearly bipedal, long arms, upright gait, zero hesitation in movement. There is the fact that the video was anonymously posted. There is no detail about where it was recorded and why was a military helicopter following a Bigfoot. However, its walk closely resembled the Marble Mountain Bigfoot, another famous sighting from 2000 that also showed a massive figure trekking up a ridge with the same fluid, confident motion. If this was just a bear, it's one that walks like Bigfoot, looks like Bigfoot, and somehow fooled military-grade equipment. Connorsville, Indiana is not exactly the place you'd expect to see something out of a cryptid documentary, but in late 2024, that changed overnight thanks to a single trail camera video. A property owner deep in the woods of Connorsville set up a trail cam to monitor wildlife. But what the camera captured wasn't a deer, a bear, or even a trespasser. It was something bigger. Standing near a tree, barely visible in the thick brush, is what appears to be a massive, hairy, humanoid figure. Its long limbs and bulky frame did not match any known local wildlife. But if that one picture isn't enough, let's see the whole bunch the camera was able to capture. The images quickly went viral. From Reddit to YouTube, people began debating whether Indiana had just joined the growing list of Bigfoot hotspots. But where many were busy dismissing this evidence as an obvious hoax, a man came up with a shocking revelation. He said he had heard strange noises in the area days before the photo was taken, sounds of screaming and screeching. So this is my old neighbor. Our houses were maybe 1/8 mile apart, surrounded by woods. I used to smoke and would sit on the front porch at night, and there were nightly screeching, screaming sounds that were like nothing I'd ever heard. No bears at all here? And the location itself, it's no stranger to weird encounters. Southeastern Indiana, especially areas near the Whitewater River Valley, has had sporadic reports of strange sightings and howls for years. But until now, no one had captured anything this clear. Even local paranormal researcher Bob Freeman, known online as @OccultDetective, weighed in on the photo. And then there was also the fact that the video wasn't the only proof. There were also huge footprints spotted very close to the encounter. News outlets even covered the image, calling it one of the most compelling Bigfoot photos. With sightings piling up across the country, the Connorsville photo adds another piece to the growing mystery, especially since there were no reported costume wearers, hikers, or campers in that area at the time. Just thick woods, a camera, and something nobody can explain. In late 2023, a man named Patrick from Nanaimo, British Columbia, had set up a stealth trail camera near Kennedy Lake, deep on the west coast of Vancouver Island. And on the night of November 29th, 2015, the camera was triggered. This is what it captured. Right there, in the dark, you can see what looks like a face, partially hidden, staring directly at the camera. Patrick estimated it stood 8 to 9 feet tall, based on the camera's placement. The photo was later light filtered by RMSO investigators, revealing even more detail. A defined head, a brow ridge, and deep-set eyes. Not an animal, and definitely not human. This kind of close-up, especially one caught in infrared, is rare. And as I dug deeper, I found another photo, taken by someone in the same area. This is what that picture showed. According to the uploader, he was scrolling through a British Columbia hiking group on Facebook when he came across this comment and photo from an elderly woman. She said she took the photo on Vancouver Island, and it wasn't posted in a Bigfoot group, just a regular hiking forum. Many were quick to dismiss it as a mask, but there's one thing to consider. This photo came from a Chilliwack hiking group, a page completely unrelated to Sasquatch sightings. If someone wanted attention or clout, why post it in a place where no one is even looking for Bigfoot? Now, if you look closely, the figure in the elderly woman's photo bears a striking resemblance to the one Patrick's trail cam caught. The face shape, the eyes, the size. Could it be the same creature, or are there more of them out there, hiding in plain sight? On December 28, 1979, two 16-year-olds, Solano and his friend, spotted something terrifying in the woods. As they were out hunting pigs, they suddenly heard branches snapping and then saw it with their own eyes, a 9.5-foot tall figure lurking in the trees. As scared as they were, they kept shooting until the beast disappeared. But even after it was gone, the memory never left them. What they saw was a yowie, and according to them, this is what it looked like. Yowies are generally described as much taller than a man, covered in thick hair and cloaked in an acrid stench. Some believe yowies are even capable of crossing dimensions, which would explain why no physical remains have ever been found. Many experts believe in their existence, like Dean Harrison, who had another yowie encounter 30 years after Australia's first reported sighting, this time in Queensland. This thermal video, taken in May at Springbrook National Park on the Gold Coast, shows two 8-foot-tall figures. 20 minutes after the first yowie, Harrison claimed another one came into view, picked something up, and walked off, while the first one stood there, watching. So whether it's blurry footage, terrifying encounters, or legends passed down for decades, one thing's for sure. Whatever's hiding deep in Australia's forests isn't just a campfire story. The yowie might be out there, and it might be watching. Washington State has long been a hotspot for Bigfoot sightings, but in 2020, what looked like just another snowy day turned into something far more unsettling. This time, captured not by a random hiker or a camper, but by a government-operated camera. The Washington State Department of Transportation had one of their live traffic cameras monitoring Sherman Pass, but instead of just tracking road conditions, it caught this. A huge figure could be seen moving through the snow-covered forest, far from any trail. The footage quickly spread online, but the most shocking part wasn't just the shape, it was the source. This wasn't some blurry phone footage or a hoax video. This came from a live feed operated by the state itself. Seriously, what if this changes what we know about Bigfoot? We normally assume they hide deep in forests, avoiding human contact. But what if Bigfoot actually prefers snowy high-altitude terrain? That might explain why nearby states like Idaho have seen more sightings lately too. Adding fuel to the fire, WS. themselves acknowledged the figure on their official Twitter account. Sasquatch spotted. I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious. If you look closely by the tree on the left, there looks to be something, might be Sasquatch. We will leave that up to you. Considering this was captured in such an isolated area near I-90, a stretch of road not exactly flooded with people, it makes it all the more unsettling that something could be moving alone toward the wilderness like that. But many believe that convenient explanations which were given were just ways to brush off growing curiosity, because ever since that sighting, strange reports in the region haven't stopped. In a more recent case, a driver traveling through MacLeod Pass spotted something quite similar, tall, dark, hairy, moving just off the side of the road. And it's not just Washington. In 2025, multiple Idaho residents claimed they saw a large creature moving unnaturally fast along a remote riverbank. These aren't new stories either. North American settlers began reporting encounters with Bigfoot as far back as the late 1800s, from unexplained footprints to grainy photographs, and even stories passed down through generations. But today, things have gotten even darker. In late 2024, two men who set out into the Washington wilderness searching for Bigfoot were later found from exposure. Whether that camera captured a prank or something else entirely, sightings like these keep happening, especially in places like Washington, where the forests are endless and silence hides more than anyone realizes. So, when even government surveillance starts picking up unexplained figures, the question isn't just whether Bigfoot exists, it's whether he's been here all along, hiding in plain sight. California already has a wild reputation when it comes to Bigfoot sightings, but recently, a new clip surfaced that's stirring up some serious attention. This time, the footage comes straight out of the Sierra Nevada region, and the way this was captured was totally unexpected. The video's origin is a mystery, but it was sent to the Bigfoot Evidence blog by a reader named Ronald Von Bering. Ronald writes that he was camping in California when the footage was taken, and that the motion sensor on his game cam has a 10-second delay, making him wonder what occurred before the video began. The footage shows what appears to be a large bipedal creature, covered in hair, walking calmly but purposefully through the campsite. About an hour before the creature showed up, Ronald and his associate had walked past the same camera. Later, he overlaid their footage with the creatures, and the size difference is shocking. The Bigfoot towers over the men, easily 8 feet tall. Even skeptics had to stop and look twice. The footage wasn't uploaded for fame. It was submitted quietly to the Bigfoot Evidence blog, and if you see it closely, it resembles the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot a lot. It's the same kind of hairy skin, the same kind of walk, and there is no surprise that both come from California. Are we dealing with isolated creatures here, or is this something that moves staying just far enough out of reach? Because if this trail cam clip is real, we may be closer to the truth than we think. The Lagerfleyot worm, also called the Iceland worm monster, has been a part of Icelandic legend for over 600 years. But in 2012, the myth may have finally been caught on camera. The video shows a long, snake-like figure moving through the icy current of Lake Lagerfleyot. It twists, bends, then seems to vanish. No head, no tail, just movement, as if something huge is gliding just beneath the surface. And here's where it gets wild. This exact creature has been part of Icelandic folklore since 1345. According to the legend, a girl had been given a gold ring by her mother and was instructed that the best way to profit from the gold was to place it under a heathworm, black slug. She did so and put it in the top of her linen chest for a few days, but then found that the little worm, serpent, dragon, had grown so large it had broken open the chest. Since then, there have been multiple sightings. Fishermen, locals, even school groups reporting strange disturbances in the water. The worm was always described the same way: long, slippery, serpentine, sometimes even breathing smoke. Skeptics say it's nothing but fishing nets or ice caught in a current. But if that's true, how do you explain the shape? The fluid movement? The way it bends like something alive? Even an official Icelandic panel reviewed the footage and concluded it was likely authentic. Whether it's a hoax, a trick of light, or a creature that's been living in that lake for centuries, one thing's clear: the Lagarfliot worm isn't just a story anymore. It might just be real. On October 28, 2021, a YouTuber uploaded a video that left a lot of viewers stunned. The footage showed something strange, something glowing. Two bright lights shimmered in the distance, floating just above the ground. They didn't blink like plane lights. They weren't headlights. They just hovered in the sky, unlike anything previously filmed. People tried to explain it, but most couldn't. Then someone pointed out this wasn't the first time something like this had been seen. It's part of a long-running phenomenon known as the Marfa lights. The Marfa lights are a legendary mystery out in West Texas, near the small town of Marfa. They've been reported for over 100 years, with the first documented sighting all the way back in 1883. The first mention of the lights comes from 1883, when cowhand Robert Reed Ellison claimed to have seen flickering lights one evening while driving a herd of cattle near Mitchell Flat. He assumed the lights were from Apache campfires. Ellison was told by area settlers that they often saw the lights too, but upon investigation, they found no ashes or other evidence of a campfire. Since then, people have described glowing balls of light in the desert. They're usually white or yellow, sometimes red or green, and they appear out near the Chenati Mountains, where no roads or buildings exist. Scientists have said it could be atmospheric reflections, thermal currents, or distant headlights. But here's the issue. The lights were documented long before cars even existed in that region. In 2004, a group of physics students set up monitoring equipment to try and track the lights. They did catch something. Some lights turned out to be from passing cars, but that only explained a few of the sightings, not the ones deeper in the desert, not the ones from the 1800s. So what are they? Some believe it's ball lightning. Others think it's plasma from underground quartz, or even interdimensional energy. Locals in Marfa have embraced the mystery. There's even a Marfa Lights viewing area off Highway 90, and a whole festival dedicated to the phenomenon every year. So maybe the real question isn't what they are. Maybe it's why these lights keep showing up in the same places for centuries. And what does that say about how little we really understand the earth beneath our feet? Grand Caverns is the oldest tourist cave in America. It opened in 1806, and because of its age, deep tunnels, and strange events, it quickly became the source of many legends. But one photo taken here recently brought back a legend that many had forgotten. At first, the photo might look normal. You might think it just shows some cave animals with glowing eyes. But wait, the real shock comes when the picture is brightened and the details become clear. One story says that in the 1990s, workers exploring deep parts of the cave saw human-like creatures with long arms, gray skin, and glowing eyes. And if you look at the figure on the far right in the photo, it looks like it has arms that end in hands. So, could it be that these old stories are actually true? Maybe some things really are better off hidden in the dark. When David Black, a New Jersey resident, was driving home, he saw an animal that looked like a llama running. When he got closer and tried to take a picture, David says the creature suddenly grew wings and flew off the golf course. He only managed to take one photo. Even though the photo is blurry, It shows everything David talked about. He says the creature is the New Jersey Devil, a legendary being from American folklore. The story goes all the way back to 1735 and describes a creature that is half man, half devil. A lot of people laughed at David for saying that, but honestly, the creature in the photo really does look like the legend. And since I can't think of a better explanation, I'm going to believe David for now. As forests disappear, people are having more and more encounters with wild animals they've never seen before. This often brings old legends back. For example, people in and around Odzilla-Koku National Park are now reporting sightings of the legendary Mokele Mbembe. The legend comes from the indigenous people of the Congo region, including the Baaka. They describe a huge creature that blocks rivers with a long neck, a strong tail, and a body like a dinosaur. Locals say it comes out of the water to eat leaves from tall trees, then dives back into the muddy river. They fear it because if it gets angry, it can cause waves and even sink boats. In the past few years, more photos have come from deep in these forests. Some people say the creature in those pictures is Mokele Mbembe. When I look at them, I can't help but see the Loch Ness Monster. But who's to say these creatures aren't related, or maybe even the same species in different parts of the world? The similarities are just too close to ignore. Embark on a journey into the peculiar and the profound with this video, set in a location as mysterious as the event it captures, an underground cave. Here, something very strange catches our eye. A peculiar light shining on the ground. As the camera zooms in, the light reveals something unexpected. It looks like the image of a man is somehow being projected within this light. Around this unusual display, there are some people standing, and they seem to be focusing on the light very intently, almost as if they are worshipping it. It's a curious scene, making me wonder if we're witnessing something miraculous, or if there might be a simpler explanation, like a trick of light or an illusion. The video doesn't clarify whether this is a genuine mystery or something man-made, but I personally think that it is more likely that it is man-made. Imagine being high up in the sky, on a plane at night, and you catch a glimpse of something totally unexpected. That's exactly what this video brings to life. Filmed by a passenger on a night flight, the dark sky outside the plane becomes the backdrop for a mysterious sight. Amidst the blanket of night, a glowing yellow object appears, standing out with its unusual shape and luminous color. The object has the classic look of what many imagine an alien ship would resemble. Bright, distinct, and somewhat otherworldly. It's this glowing yellow form against the dark sky that stirs thoughts of an alien craft and other extraterrestrial possibilities. Many such sights have been seen in many other places, either at night or during the day, which gives credence to this video. There seems to be happening something all across the world. So this does raise questions. Are we being observed from above by something we don't fully understand? Step into the mysterious ambience of this video, where a seemingly peaceful forest scene takes a sudden and bewildering turn. Initially, everything appears serene and typical of a forest landscape, with trees standing tall, and the sounds of nature possibly filling the air. However, the tranquility is abruptly interrupted as, one by one, the trees begin to topple. The sight is startling. Normally, one might quickly assume the work of a deforestation crew, perhaps a chainsaw or a feller buncher at play behind the scenes. Yet, the perplexing aspect of this video is the absence of any such machinery or apparent human intervention. The trees continue to fall, seemingly sliced at their base, fueling a sense of bewilderment and intrigue. This unexplained phenomenon makes me wonder, is there an invisible force at work, or is there a natural explanation, such as a disease weakening the trees, making them succumb to gravity? Home security cameras are supposed to give us peace of mind, but when they capture footage like this, they can leave us feeling uneasy and downright spooked. This chilling video from the UK shows a home security camera trained on a house driveway. Everything seems normal with cars parked around, but then out of nowhere, something streaks across the street in a blur. It's a shadowy black figure with a humanoid shape, running in a strangely human-like manner, but it's fast and almost transparent. Viewers who've already watched this video are convinced it's a ghost, especially since similar sightings have been reported by locals in the same area. Also, the video was captioned as yet another encounter with this ghostly apparition. Now, some folks might argue that it's just computer-generated imagery trickery, or perhaps a glitch in the camera. But to me, it looks all too real. The way the figure seamlessly blends with its surroundings is just too perfect. But hey, I'm just speculating here. What do you think? Got any thoughts on this spooky footage? Ever seen those creatures from Greek mythology with multiple heads? Well, this video from India gives that a whole new twist. Except this time, it's a goat.
मार्बल जो है ना वो नहीं था मामला, फिर उनको बुलाया तो ये टेढ़ा हो गया था, तो वो तो पहले था हुआ था, वो तो सही निकला, ये बट ये सब डबल था ना, अटका हुआ था.
This footage comes straight from an Indian village where a truly bizarre goat was born on a farm. Instead of the usual single head, this goat had two heads joined together. The farmer in the video explained that the mommy goat had given birth to baby goats, first with a normal kid, and then with this two-headed wonder. The cameraman then pans to show the mommy goat, where we can see the contrast between the two births. One fine, the other conjoined. Throughout the video, the baby goat remains lying down, but it shows occasional movements, indicating it's still hanging on. Now, this could be a result of some kind of birth defect or genetic mutation, which often has a tough impact on the animal's quality of life. Here's hoping this little goat receives all the care and attention it needs from the farmers. This video from Jordan Creek showcases a group of friends who stumbled upon a blood-sucking alien-like fish while out fishing. And let me tell you, it's downright terrifying.
Yo, we just caught a lamprey in the Jordan Creek right now. Look at that dude.
Oh my gosh, guys.
What you just witnessed, resembling something straight out of a monster movie, was captured by a duo of friends at Jordan Creek. In the video, one friend is seen holding this strange alien-like creature in his hands, while the other records it. This thing has a long, elongated eel-like body with a funnel-like sucking face at one end. And let's talk about its mouth, that picture the cameraman took. Creepy doesn't even begin to describe it. It's lined with multiple rows of teeth, reminiscent of those giant worms from the Dune movie. But wait, don't pull out your hair in fear yet, because this creature isn't extraterrestrial. It's a known aquatic being called a lamprey. Lampreys are jawless fish characterized by their toothed, funnel-like sucking mouth. They use this unique mouth to attach to their host and suck out blood and body fluids until they're full. So, while it may not be an alien, it's definitely not something you'd want to encounter while swimming. This next clip caused quite a stir on TikTok, with folks losing their minds over what was captured. A guy enjoying his beach trip stumbled upon something truly bizarre. A tiny skeleton washed up on the shore. As he started recording, he couldn't resist picking up this skeletal marvel. What he held in his hand was like a mashup of a tiny human and a fish. It had a humanoid skull, ribcage, and long arms, but with a fish-like tail for a lower body. Also, it was tiny, like 8 or 9 inches long, barely the length of the guy's arm. Now, the speculation began. Some say it resembled a baby mermaid. You know, those mythical creatures with a mix of human and fish traits. The guy who found it claimed that beachgoers were absolutely spooked by the discovery. Whatever it was, one thing's for sure. It's probably better off staying underwater. For some reason, a Turkish blogger decided to investigate the woods in the middle of the night.
Ya, gue dengar suara. Gue dengar suara, teman-teman. Dan arahnya di daerah.
It didn't take long before he started hearing strange noises all around him. But the noises weren't the only thing that scared him that night. He later said he had a strong feeling the whole time that someone was following him. So he finally got the courage to start shouting, just to see if anyone would answer.
Dan arahnya di daerah sini. Astagfirullah!
The forest he was walking through was so thick that whatever was in there had the upper hand. It could hide easily. And the blogger realized that pretty quickly, because what he caught on camera next made his blood run cold.
Ah! Anjing! Goblok!
Even though he got out of the forest that night, safe and sound, the fear stayed with him. Hopefully, next time he'll think twice before heading out alone into the woods, day or night. A lot of people online think the creature he saw was the rake. And now that I think about it, it really does look like a skinny thing with no hair on its body. But I'll let you decide, was it the rake or something even worse? Another man was walking outside in the dark forest when he saw a pair of glowing eyes next to him. But instead of running, he stayed and somehow managed to put the creature standing beside him to sleep. For some reason, the creature stayed calm and let the man go. A part of me really wants to believe this was just a small forest animal, scared and frozen. But did you see the shadow behind its head? I don't know about you, but to me, that looked like its body. And if that's true, this thing is huge. A lot of people online think this might actually be a creature from Arabic mythology, a jinn. And honestly, it does have something on its head that looks more like horns than ears. So, what do you think? A security camera on someone's property caught a creature jumping over a fence and running back into the woods. The footage quickly started a debate online. Since the creature was covered in hair, a lot of people thought it might be Bigfoot. And honestly, they might be right. Just look at the size of its body compared to the trees around it. That's not the size of a regular person. It's way bigger. And did you see how easily it jumped over that fence? In my opinion, no normal person could jump that high using just their legs. All things considered, I think the people living there might want to think about moving, because, for some reason, Bigfoot seems very interested in that property. Recently, a trail camera captured a pretty creepy photo deep in the forest. In the background of the image, you can clearly see a large creature standing upright and staring straight at the camera, like it was curious about the little device it had never seen before. That alone tells us this creature might be smart. Its face looks a bit like a monkey, but the way it stands, definitely not a monkey. The strangest part is what happened after. More people started sharing photos from their own trail cams, and in each one, you can see part of the same face, always watching the camera. And with more Bigfoot sightings being reported in recent years, it really makes you wonder, are we finally getting close to proving this creature is real? The man was driving his car when he saw something running toward him from the side. At first, he thought it was a wolf, but then he realized that even though it looked like one, this creature was something completely different. A lot of people online called the creature Wahila, while others called it saberwolf, but both groups were talking about the same thing, a large wolf-like creature that's said to live in Alaska. This animal is bigger and stronger than normal wolves. It has a large head, thick legs, and lighter colored fur. The scariest part is that many people have seen animals like this before and even taken pictures. They say the back legs are shorter than the front ones, and based on the tracks they found later, the toes were spread far apart. Could this finally be proof that creatures like this are real? Or maybe even that werewolves exist? Let us know what you think in the comments. And no, don't say it's just a wolf. Wolves always move in packs. These things are always seen alone. Michigan has more than 20 million acres of forest, especially in the Upper Peninsula. These forests are thick, remote, and often impossible to reach, which makes them the perfect hiding place for a creature that wants to avoid people. Some places are hours from the nearest town and completely empty at night. That makes it easy for something to stay hidden for years, or even decades. So it's not surprising that a new photo has popped up, claiming that Bigfoot lives in these very woods. The picture looks like it caught Bigfoot while moving. Even though a small tree is blocking part of the view, it's still clear what we're looking at. Say what you want, but I think this is the best Bigfoot photo we've seen in years. It's sharp, and nothing about it looks fake. To be honest, I'd be more suspicious if it were perfect, because that would make it seem edited. But this photo looks real enough to make us think. A group of people were exploring a huge abandoned facility when they quickly realized they weren't alone. From the darkness, behind one of the corners, a bright creature peeked out. It was so shiny that it reflected the light from their flashlights. Of course, the group started running, and who wouldn't? But they had no idea that escaping wouldn't be so easy. Not from a creature they had never seen before.
Подожди, может она ушла? Да какое она ушло? Ты что? Пойдем оттуда. А, черт! Черт, что это? Пойдем лучше. Пойдем. Что? Блин, оно сейчас нас сожрет. Иди. Черт! Блин!
The creature started following them, and judging by how far it had already come in total darkness, it's clear that it has great night vision. Whatever this thing is, it has clearly adapted to living in the dark. If you look at its thin arms and the way it moves on them, I think you'll agree with me. This looks a lot like a skinwalker. This man couldn't sleep, so he decided to step outside in the middle of the night to get some fresh air. But what he saw next made sure he wouldn't sleep for a long time after that. We can't even say this creature was flying because it clearly didn't have wings. It looked more like levitation. The body just floated freely through the air, high above the ground. And I don't know about you, but to me, the shape of the flying creature looked a lot like a human. Though really, it could be anything. Could this be proof that witches or other magical beings actually exist? When scientists set up cameras in the woods for North Carolina's official wildlife monitoring program, they never expected one of them to capture a creepy photo in the middle of the night. The picture shows part of the face of an unknown creature with a large black eye staring straight into the camera. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is an alien. Some people tried to explain it away, saying it was just a deer that got too close to the lens and looked distorted, but I still think it's an alien. It looks exactly like the gray aliens we've seen in movies. And before you say this is just nonsense, let me remind you, the photo was posted by NC Candid Critters, which is actually a pretty reliable source, isn't it? On top of that, a few more trail cameras have recently taken photos that show shapes that look just like aliens, with small bodies and big heads. Who knows, maybe aliens have been here for a long time. Maybe we've just been looking in the wrong place. And speaking of creepy trail camera footage and photos, this one caught something that shocked everyone. The people who set up the camera were only trying to film animals at night, but they got more than they expected. The video shows the hand of a creature, and it's clearly huge. We don't see the rest of the body, but I have a strong feeling that this thing is very powerful. At one point, it looked like you could see more than just the hand, and to me, it looked like thick fur. And really, what kind of creature has a hand that looks so human, only bigger, and is covered in thick fur if it's not Bigfoot? A father set up a motion detecting camera in his daughter's room after she said she heard a voice telling her to leave. But the camera caught something strange that shocked the whole family. It recorded the shape of a human-like creature. The creature had no hair, no clothes, and no face. The father says no one was in the room at that time. Many people have shared similar stories about shadow figures. Some said they saw them in their rooms. Some just stood there and watched people sleep. Others made loud noises. Science says this is just sleep paralysis. But if that's true, how do they explain all these photos? Back in 2013, a photo was taken that the people who took it say shows Bigfoot. If we believe them, they've been in that forest so many times that they know how tall the object is next to where the black creature is standing. Based on that, they say the creature is a little over 7 feet tall, while many people agree it looks like a classic Bigfoot. Others think it might be a dogman. Honestly, when we zoom in on the picture, it's so blurry that I'm not sure what to think. What do you say?
There are different levels of fear, and being stalked by something unknown, in my opinion, ranks right at the top. And this video captures that feeling perfectly.
The taiga border forest, which is located in Russia, northern Canada, and...
Did you see that? Let's take another look at the clip, this time focusing on when the curtain next to the man opens. There it is. This unsettling footage was recorded by a boy starting his new YouTube channel. In the midst of recording his first video, something bizarre unfolds. Just as his whiner dog lifts the curtain behind him, a face appears lurking inside the house. This face, resembling a creepy toy bear, stares directly into the camera with a chilling, almost lifeless expression. And the unsettling part? Even the dog seems spooked by the presence of this face in the glass window. While there's a slim chance it could be computer-generated imagery, the realism of the encounter is hard to shake off. This face eerily resembles something out of a Five Nights at Freddy's game, adding an extra layer of terror to the scene. Ever had that eerie feeling of being watched while trying to drift off to sleep? You might have brushed it off as just your mind playing tricks. But what if there was something more to it? This spine-chilling footage was captured by a homeowner who had been hearing strange breathing noises outside his window while lying in bed with his eyes shut. Thinking it was just his imagination, he decided to record one night as he attempted to sleep. Sure enough, he heard the unsettling noise again. In a moment of courage mixed with dread, he flicked on the light, and to his shock he caught sight of an alien-like figure peering into his bedroom through the glass window. Terrified, he quickly scanned the area outside, but there was nothing there. Convinced it was all in his head, he turned off the light and tried to sleep again. Yet, the eerie noise returned, and when he summoned the courage to turn on the light once more, there it was, the creepy figure staring back at him. The video ends there, leaving us all with a lingering sense of unease. It's a truly chilling reminder to always keep those bedroom window curtains closed, just in case. The debate over the arrival of aliens on Earth has been a long-standing topic of discussion on the internet with skeptics and believers alike. And videos like this one only add fuel to the fire. What you're witnessing was discovered on the shores of New Jersey, and it looks like something straight out of a science fiction movie set, recorded by a beachgoer. This creature appears massive, with a long snake-like body and dragon-like scales running along its back. Its mouth resembles that of a dragon, complete with terrifying-looking eyes, or rather empty sockets now. The creature seems to have been cut down the middle, adding an extra layer of dread as we wonder about its potential full size. However, I must admit, I'm a bit skeptical about it all. To me, this creature looks like it was carved out of a wooden log. Just look at the missing scales on its back. You can even see the wood texture inside them, and everything appears quite solid, with the eye sockets looking like they were simply drilled in. But hey, I'm just speculating. It could very well be a genuine monster sighting. After all, nature is full of surprises. If you are enjoying this so far, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep this channel going. If the last creature looked like it was carved from wood, this monstrous find, washed up on a Malaysian beach, looks straight out of a nightmare and has netizens on the internet shaking in their boots. The massive body of this creature was stumbled upon by some alert lifeguards on a Malaysian beach. From the very first glance, it's clear that this creature defies anything we've ever seen before. Its colossal whale-like body is accompanied by a strange amalgamation of organs and a bizarre body shape. From every angle, it seems like a combination of various creatures' organs and skin gathered together. However, there could be a logical explanation. Perhaps this is the result of a whale that perished long ago, its body decomposing into this ghastly form. Despite its whale-like size, this creature doesn't resemble anything else we're familiar with. Yet, it also raises the possibility that this could be a creature from the depths of the ocean that remains unexplored. The mystery only deepens. If you've ever felt blessed, just wait until you see what these African fishermen hauled in on their daily fishing expedition. This incredible footage comes straight from Africa, captured by a local villager who witnessed the astonishing catch brought in by their community's fishermen. As they returned from their fishing trip, they unveiled a colossal fish that would make anyone's jaw drop. This fish is not just large in length, but it's also impressively wide, resembling a miniature whale in size. Using nothing but sheer manpower, the locals worked together to hoist the enormous catch out of the water. While the fish bears a resemblance to an ordinary catfish, it's about 20 times its size. The villagers are understandably thrilled about this catch, knowing that it could provide sustenance for the entire community. Yet, the mystery lies in the sheer size of the fish. While it's not a whale, its massive proportions leave many questioning its true identity. Have any ideas or guesses? Feel free to share them in the comments below the video.
For more interesting footage, check this out.